You all saw the title. You're not dumb. If you clicked on this, you probably have a pretty good idea of what the significance of August 18th, 2021 is. And just to clear the air, I did in fact verify Sonic Wave Insane on August 18th, 2021 at 9:45 p.m. It was, in fact, the last day of summer, and it's true that I only had 15 minutes before it was my bedtime. That whole story is verifiably true. That's not what I'm calling a lie. Most of everyone I talk to knows the story at the surface level, but there's a deeper part of it that I don't share very often that I feel would be worth sharing for the second anniversary, and that's what it represents, the space that event occupies in my mind. Now this video is going to be a peek into what my content will be like after I beat Sonic Wave. It's going to be a lot more introspective and philosophical, because that's who I am, and I think that type of content is where I would flourish, and I think be able to document some of my thoughts and now will be valuable in the future. So if you're watching this as an escape or as a distraction, I'd suggest watching this at a later date or not at all. Now if we're going to start this story, we need to start in the summer of 2021. I was 12 years old and life was very good. It was the first time where I felt truly free to spend my days however I wanted, and by this time, I'd already been streaming for roughly 10 months and had a decently sized community. I still loved streaming, and I was able to do it whenever I wanted, for as long as I wanted, and at whatever interval. I understood that my life was good. I'm not going to lie and say that I didn't know how good I had it. I even understood at that point that I wouldn't always feel as happy as I did then. And so for the entirety of the 2 weeks before summer ended, I wanted to make a final push towards verifying a level I'd been working on since I was 9 years old, which was Sonic Wave Insane. I'd been buffing it more and more as time went on, and I was finally happy with where it was. So since the time was right, I decided it would be the best to just try to have it released by the end of summer. And we all know how this ends. I take the entire 2 weeks to verify it, and I do it in the last 15 minutes. This was the peak of my happiness that entire summer, and arguably, it was the peak of my entire life up to that point. It was the perfect way to close the best period of my life, and the perfect way to start the next chapter, which was 8th grade. Except 8th grade did not go to plan. When 8th grade started, I noticed an immediate drop in my mental health. For starters, my principal insisted that we immediately went back to our full, pre-COVID schedules. The entire environment of school that I had become accustomed to had suddenly completely shifted in the other direction. Suddenly, for the first time in over a year, I felt the full weight and pressure of school on me at once, along with the pressure of constantly being my best so that I could look good for high schools I wanted to attend. And that is just a taste of the fiasco that was my 8th grade year. You don't need to know all the details, but it got really bad really quickly. I fell into a depression that lasted me the entire year. I never uploaded or streamed, I never did anything really. I was miserable all the time, and when things get especially bad in life, what do? You look back and remember the good times. And I always look back on August 18th, 2021, because that seemed like the last time I ever felt happy, that I ever actually accomplished something that I was proud of. And so to everyone who knew I was miserable, I always referenced August 18th, 2021 as the peak of my life. It didn't get better than that. It couldn't. I was so sure that after all that had happened over the past year, that life could never be higher than when I was doing what I was passionate about every day and achieving all my goals and doing what I wanted at my own pace. And at the end of it, completing a project that I had been working on since my childhood. It seemed like such a safe bet to assume that I had lost that innocence forever, that I had seen too much, that such a feeling could never be replicated, that I should never expect things to be that good because I'd grown too much. At the end of that awful school year, I graduated 8th grade, but I didn't feel happy or even relieved. I just felt so fatigued from everything. I didn't feel hopeful since I'd already convinced myself that my time to be happy was over forever. The summer of 2022 had arrived, and I used that time to heal. I met new friends, reconnected with old ones, and I took the opportunity to finally get some rest. And as I talked to more people, I kept referencing August 18th, 2021, sometimes in passing, and sometimes as the sole conversation topic. People were surprised that I remembered such a specific date, even down to the minute. And as we discussed it more, people began memorizing it just like I had, and it sort of became one of our little inside jokes. Some of them even knew that August 18th was seen as the peak of my life. Some thought it was sad, some were indifferent. Everyone knew that date marked the time when I verified an important achievement, but I don't know if anyone understood that I wasn't celebrating my accomplishment. I was lamenting a better time that had passed me by, reliving a nostalgic moment over and over with a sense of defeat. I even streamed on August 18th, 2022, calling it Names Happiness Day, as if it were some national holiday. I kept telling about how I beat it in the last 15 minutes of summer because let's be fair, that's an awesome story. And of course, as fate would have it, the next day would be my first day of freshman year. Except this time, I noticed something weird was happening. As the months went by, I noticed a steady incline in my mental health. I still had energy to stream, I had less problems with schoolwork, and my passion for community and content creation had pretty much been reignited. Over the course of the entire year, I kept getting happier. I was more active on Discord and Twitch, my relationships flourished. I started brute forcing Sonic Wave, I started the Chronic Cast, and I got more involved in my community. And I know I'm glossing over an entire year again, but this all culminated when the last day of school came. I'll never forget the day. It was May 25th, 2023. Everything was great. I was finishing up my final exams, all the words were flowing perfectly from my hand to the paper, and you could feel the excitement of everyone in the room. And finally, the bell rang and everyone was dismissed. However, I had made the decision recently that I would walk all the way home when I normally take the bus, just so I could savor that feeling. But something was different on that walk. I saw everything brighter and more clearly. Suddenly, every road, building, person, car, it all was good. I saw that brightness for hours until I finally arrived home. The whole experience was overwhelming, so I took a second to breathe and collect my thoughts. And then I had a realization. One of the most important realizations I'd ever had. I'd beaten it. Not a level or a verification, but I'd beaten depression. But more importantly to this story, I had just had a new best day ever, arguably hitting a higher high than when I verified Sonic Wave Insane. And so suddenly this ceiling that had been trapped under for so long had finally been lifted. Not only that, but as the summer days went by, things continued to get better. I found an amazing new community of people who made me look forward to every new day of streaming. And so it didn't make sense for me to look way back in the past and reference August 18th, 2021 as the peak of my life anymore. It was simply a different time of my life and a different version of me. Of course, things will never be exactly like they were back in August of 2021. But that's okay, because I was a child back then, and now I'm 15. I'm older, and more mature than I was, and if anything, I can use that to help myself in terms of being happier in the future. And that's what the lie of August 18th, 2021 is. It's what that date represents for me. It's an admission that a specific time in the past is better than anything that has or ever will come. It means that because life has already reached its peak, it's not worth it to put effort into the future. And that, on all levels, is simply not true. No matter how old you are, no matter what you've gone through, it is never too late to live to your fullest. And that's what I wanted to say with this video. I wanted to say that it's never too late to be happy. With time and a little bit of effort, things will get better. I've seen how low things can get. But I promise you that no matter what's going on, it is worth sticking through it so that you can see the other side. You are not held down by the moments of your past. Don't do what I did. Don't point to one high moment in your life and say, that's it. That's as good as it gets. It's not useful, it's not constructive, and it's not true. Things will get better. And if it takes a while, that's fine. That just means that when your time comes, it'll feel even more rewarding. So that begs the question, how am I doing now? Well, to be honest, it doesn't matter. August 18th, 2021. What you just watched was the peak of my 9:45 p.m. I grinded Sonic Wave Insane for 2 straight weeks of true contentment. If I was to never get that shot to the next day with excitement and happiness wasn't based on what levels I completed, it's based on what an entire community. I verified it! You don't understand like how much that means. Let's go. Yes. Oh my god! 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 Yo, you did it! Oh my god!